All right, so this is actually pretty funny. Quite a few people messaged me talking about Kobe Bufkin. They were like, "Why didn't you bring him up when you were talking about your top 4 or 5 players or something that the Spurs should trade up and attempt to get?" I actually really do like Kobe. I just didn't leave him on the list because I was looking at players that were that had the most potential, in my opinion, when it came to like number 3 and number 5 being available. But if it's true that the 10th could potentially be available, and it sounds like maybe some others as well, Kobe Bufkin is definitely a really good pick.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So LJ Ellis, if you guys don't know, he's great at Spurs news. He's a pretty prominent figure in the Spurs community when it comes to breaking news and all that good stuff. Sometimes he's taken out of context, but most of the time people understand, and he has pretty good sources. So let's go ahead and look here. It says, after selecting Wembayama with the first pick in the draft, the Spurs won't be done. They have 2 second-round selections, the 33rd and the 44th overall picks. I'm going to be honest with you guys. My eye is killing me. I'm going to try to... Oh, my goodness. I don't know what's going on. It's so... I'm about to cry. Like, I keep touching it. It's I can't deal. Anyways, furthermore, 2 different league sources I've spoken to say the Spurs are one of the most active teams in trade talks heading into the draft. According to the league sources, the Spurs are telling teams their preference is to trade for another first-round pick. If that's unsuccessful, San Antonio has let it be known that they want to trade away at least one of their second-round picks. If the Spurs get another selection in the first round, the names I've heard most often when discussing the possibility with NBA scouts are Anthony Black and Kobe Bufkin. So there potentially could be something here with the sources that he has. But I want to focus in on Kobe here just for a second, because Anthony Black, we talked about him enough. I think I've done enough videos talking about it, and maybe we'll get back to it. But Kobe Bufkin, let's go ahead and talk about him just really quickly. This draft is really deep, okay? Really, really deep. And I believe a player like Kobe probably would have been in the lottery any other year, maybe like top 6, top 7 last year, honestly. But fortunately for us, this draft is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, to the point where even if you go to 30th, Brandon here, our boy Brandon, and we did a video on this, Jeremy Sohan communicated with him. He's 30th, but you know, last year I could have seen him be 16th, 17th, right in the middle of the first round. So Kobe Bufkin, he is the archetype that I absolutely love in a player. So he's a combo guard. He has a really nice attitude about him. He's crafty. He's shifty. He can create his own shot for the most part. And I'll talk about the cons in a second. But overall, I think that he's a very good combo guard. He can find the open guy really well on pick and rolls. He's great on the baseline, or baseline attacks, that is. Has a really clean jump shot. So one thing that I'm always a little reserved on are guys, especially guards, that can't shoot. That like really gets to me, okay? I know that there's been some reports that Popovich kind of wants Trey Jones to come back because we have kind of a point guard problem, right? But just guys like that just can't shoot or don't shoot very well, that's a guard. It's always hard for me, but that's not the case with Bufkin here. He has a really nice, clean jump shot, okay? Really, really nice. And that's going to always be his bread and butter, I think. He's also a really good finisher, and defensive-wise, he's a really good defender on ball when it comes to getting steals. Very, very DeJounte Murray-like. He knows how to utilize his length pretty well, and he had quite a few blocks this past season, and that's really impressive for a guard. The only downside to him that I can really see is that sometimes his decision-making is pretty rough. Like he'll get quite a few turnovers at times. He picks up his dribble way too often. But things like that, I just think, for the most part, when it comes to his decision making, it just comes down to the fact that he's mostly a shooting guard. Like, he can run point guard, but his go-to is always to try to score. I mean, even in this play right here, this play, I mean, he could have passed this up. He got quite a bit of attention there, and he still wanted to take the shot. And that's just the type of player he is. He's not selfish or anything like that. He always has his eyes on the court. He's always looking for open guys. But for the most part, his go-to, his first gear is to shoot. And that's actually what we want here. He's good enough as far as off the pick and rolls and making passes and making reads, but we do want a guard that can actually score. And that's kind of like the reason why I'm reserved on Anthony Black is that in particular is the fact that while I love Anthony Black as a player defensively, and I like that his playmaking skills really well. He knows how to utilize his skills really well. His scoring is something that's going to be a little iffy, okay? But his potential's super high. So when I was thinking about players that we could potentially take or we can move up in the draft and try to get, he was definitely ahead of Kobe for me, just because I think that he just has more potential. He has a lot in his bag, but Kobe is really good as well. So if the Spurs go with him, I think that that's good. Another thing too, I wanted to bring this up as far as cons when it comes to Kobe. His defense, while it's really good, he's not great around screens. He's not great at switching, and he's not great in pick and roll defense. But I think that maybe that has to do with Michigan's defense. I think that they weren't coached well enough on the defensive end, because their pick and roll defense overall was terrible. So it's probably not a him thing. It's probably just the coaching staff not really honing in on that side of the ball there. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts. You guys can tell me what your thoughts are. But overall, I think that is a good pickup if the Spurs elect to do that. But this, like I said, this draft is so deep. There's so many different players. It's hard for me to just hone in on one. I like Kaysen. I like Anthony Black. I like SR. I like Amen. You guys told me to say Amen. It's Amen, right? Asar, Amen. Why are their names hard to say? I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired. My eyes hurt. I'm gonna get with you guys later. Let me know what you think in the comments. Till next time. Oh, you want to support the channel? You know how to do it. Link in the description. Merch, all that good stuff. I can't talk right now. Bye. God.